So it was a word of the day a couple of days ago. How do you choose them? And are they in any sense a public service, a running commentary on current affairs?
No, they're not a public service at all. So just sometimes they might be inspired by an event of the time. So yes, yesterday's was about Putin. I mean, that was a bit obvious, really. To me, anyway.
The fanfaron was Putin in that case.
Yes, that was, yeah. But sometimes they are. My timeline is full of pictures of Boris Johnson. At least it used to be, because I would always tweet things like, I don't know, Hingham Tringham, which is barely presentable, just about hanging together. And I tweeted that at 8:30 in the morning because that's exactly how I felt. So a lot of them were kind of self-referential, but people like, oh, I know who that, who that is. But the lovely thing about this is that people pick them up and think they apply them to their whatever context they want to. So I had a lot of Australian Prime Minister applications, insults for those. I don't know, who else did I have? Lots of people populating my timeline who actually I didn't have in mind at the beginning. Right. So they're usually inspirations of the moment. I don't have a whole load. The only one actually, if I'm trying to think over the last few years, there was just one which was planned and I knew the moment was sadly going to come, and that was recrudescence, which is when, unfortunately, Trump announced his comeback. And recrudescence is the return of something unpleasant after a period of relief. And I did have that. I chanced on that one a couple of years ago, and I thought, I know exactly when I'm going to use that one. But yeah, normally, I promise you, they're just sort of, whatever I'm feeling at the time. So there are quite a few repeats in there, particularly when it comes to oversleeping or not quite feeling up to it, or just futzing about, quiddling. Quiddling is spending a lot of time on trivial matters as a way of avoiding the important ones. Yeah. All of these are about 500 years old. That's the brilliant thing. And there's another one which absolutely describes you now, Giles, probably, and maybe a lot of people here today, which is from the 15th century and born
I'm
for
kind of nervous.
Zoom meetings as well. No, it's nod crafty, and we all are nod crafty. And that is essentially having the knack of nodding your head as if you understand everything that someone is saying when you actually tuned out quite a while ago. I'm not saying you tuned out, but we're all nod crafty, aren't we? But obviously they were in the 16th century.
Does nod crafty specifically mean nodding when you don't understand?
It's nodding your head with an air of great wisdom is how it's defined in the dictionary. So it clearly is when you're making, all the appearances of understanding what or going along with something when actually you're just somewhere else. Yeah.
You may, unfortunately, have an opportunity to use fanfaron and bloviator and recrudescence all over again quite soon if the local elections go back. This isn't supposed to be about politics, but
yes.
Yeah. Yes. So you might recycle a bit then, or
I do recycle.
Yeah.
I figured that. There are a few tweeters that say, "Well, didn't you have this one before?" But so quite often I will say it as a reminder of a word because they are. They're just so useful again and again and again. And I don't think you have mumpsimus in there, but that's another one where I just think, why did this ever fall out of use? The dictionary loves a good insult. And this one is, again, 4 or 5 centuries old. And a mumpsimus is someone who insists that they're right, despite clear evidence that they're not.
Thanks for watching that video. If you enjoyed that, we think you'll love these. And if you want to join us for the next live recording of Tortoise Lates, head to tortoisemedia.com/book.